Hello, everybody. This is Omega, and I'm back again today to give another box, not necessarily opening in the sense of my normal box openings, but this is for the planetary days of the week. And so far, I've done Monday for the moon and Friday for Venus. And I'm going to show you a box that, since we're approaching Saturday, that an idea that you can use, some ideas that you can use for a Saturday box for Saturn, which obviously is ruled by the planet Saturn. And this is, I guess, associated with death to some people, protection, and anything that you want to do with that kind of work. The the glyph or the sigil I have here, and this is the sigil I use, and I also used it to identify the box. And it's explained, or it's described by the crescent below the scythe. So a scythe, like, I don't know if you guys seen like the Grim Reaper, and that's what this means. So this is the sigil that is used with Saturn for Saturday work. So I'm going to go ahead, and before I open this, just a quick, synopsis on Saturn. Saturn, Freddy. You're just hogging the camera here. So basically, it's I have my notes here. It what it does by this enclosing of it, it signifies man's limit, or humans' limitations, and what we must do to overcome adversity. So some of the works that you would like to do would be for long-term goals, not something quick like for Mars, where you just like, I want to get this here now, I want to get that. This is like, instead of a job, let's say if you want to get a job, that would be Aries, that would be Tuesday, Mars. But if you want a career, you want to try to tap into patience and longevity and all of that, you would work with Saturn. I think that would be a better correspondence. So some of the things, in case I forget, that are associated with it: limitation, restrictions, boundaries, practicality, and reality. And this governs ambition, career, authority, hierarchy, and social structures. So the concerns are like sense of duty, discipline. If you want to find discipline, responsibility, their physical and emotional endurance, and especially if you're going through something that you would consider it a hardship. And many people do. Not everybody comes across some kind of hardship during their life. But this is a really good sign to work with. It's also associated with, if you work with the goddess aspect, this would be the crone. And also the goddess Hecate. So the colors for Saturn are black, mainly black. You can use brown, sometimes super, super like deep purple, or maroon, but I usually stick to black, because black just, and any of the corresponding stones and crystals are dark in nature, like hematite, black tourmaline, obsidian, things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. And this is I guess, a mixture of Freddie. Sorry, come on, Freddie. Okay. Let's do this together, okay? Just be chill. Okay. So I'm in my opening up, and of course this identifies it. Ready. Come on, let's go over here. Right, over here. Oh, you're so excited today for this. On the top here, I just, this is from the deck from The Witch's Moon. It was one of the tarot decks for, I think it was last year? No, I don't. I'm trying to remember. But this was the tarot deck that we got for the astrological signs. And since this is Saturnus, I just picked this one, and you can use this if you want. It's just an idea. And another sigil that we got during our scribe subscription box was protection. And in here you can kind of see that scythe kind of look to it, the cross and the crescent here. So, and this is encased, of course, in the black. So I don't waste any of these. I keep them. You know, you can repurpose them. So on the top, this is the actual sigil that I use. And unlike the other sigils that have either a white or lighter background and a darker symbol, Saturn is different. It's the opposite. It has a black background, and what's shining through is the actual symbol itself. It could be on a circle or a square or rectangle, but I tend to use the circles because they're easier for me to use. So you can place this on your altar, your working space. It's just an idea. You can make this yourself. I did. I just cut this out and, you know, did the symbol myself. Or there are plenty of symbols online you can use, and you can just print from that. That's there. Candles again. This one is from the Witch's Moon. And this is the black beeswax candle. And I also used a brown one as well. Some people use brown for court cases, things that have to do with court. That's another use. And instead of sage, cedar is most associated with Saturn. So the sage, or the bundle, the cedar bundle that we have, this is what I use on for Saturn. And juniper, as I mentioned earlier, can be used with lots of different workings, different planetary correspondences. But juniper is used. I use this with Saturn. And we'll get some of the stones here. We got malachite. This is a dark green color that you can use. So I have a couple of those. And as I mentioned before, I keep these, and I find that it protects it, and it also helps me just identify, you know, what it is that I want. And also having these boxes has really been helpful. I just don't like scrambling around when I have an idea of what to do that night. And, you know, I have my basic stuff, but, you know, you need this herb, you need this incense, you need, you know, this stone, you need, you know, this correspondence, you need this sigil. And this way I can just put it into one box and just, you know, use it as I need it. And also, I think it's great, like if you're traveling, you need a huge box like this, but you could do a mini box. And I may do some videos later for mini boxes for travel. So that was another idea. And I have some smaller boxes from Box of Shadows, from the other subscriptions that I did presentations on and reviews. And I'll probably do one later with that. Another stone. And this one this was my own. And this is a sphere. This didn't come from a subscription box, but this is just something that I just happen to have. And you see this one to my right here. I use this as well. I got this in a thrift shop. You know, it was, I don't know, like $10. So another good idea is to just go to your local antique shops or just resale shops, and you won't believe the things that you can find. I mean, sometimes, you know, what someone sees as junk and they want to get rid of can be something that another person really likes, you know, and they just can't wait to get it off their hands. So also a lot of places that do staging for homes and apartments, they'll get, you know, just buy furniture, and once they're done selling the home, they want to get rid of it. So all the furniture and all the accessories and things like that go to a resale shop, and you can get these at mark down things like this. What else? And this is the smoky quartz. We got this from the Witch's Moon. I turned this around from last time because I'm trying to get better lighting, and I believe the video before this, it was backlit a little bit, so it was kind of dark up front, so I'm just trying to rearrange. I'm doing this the last hours of the day to get what's left of the sunlight, and turn it around so I'm not backlit. And this pouch I had myself. I forgot what was in here. Oh, this is High John the Conqueror. I just have the actual, root here. I just happened to buy it when I was in a store, and they just happen to have this available, but you can use that as well. And High John the Conqueror oil, you can use with that. I forgot to put it in here actually, and I used it last Saturday. But that's the oil. You can buy the corresponding oil online. You can make yours. I find it easier to buy mine. I can make my own incense, which I like to do, but the oils I find it just easier to buy them. So I have High John the Conqueror oil, or you could go online or go to your nearest, store that sells those kind of things and buy an oil that has an association with Saturn. That's it there. Another purpose, I guess, an easy way, or another way people use Saturn is to communicate with the dead and to communicate with their past ones. Is a good idea to do this on a Saturday, as it is related to the aspect of the crone. And, Saturn coming, at the end of the year, December, it's the end of the year. It's the oldest month, therefore. So I have this. I got this online, and this is called this from old European witchcraft, occult veneficus, and this is this particular one is called necromancy, meaning necromancy, basically. You don't have to do this, but this is just something that I have, and it's an actual. It's like a salve. It's got some resins in it, and you can just put it on, anoint yourself with it. It has a very deep, like oriental incense-like aroma to it, very dark. So I've used this. And I have another one that's associated with communicating with those that had passed. And there's a little bit, I don't know if you could see it, but there's a little bit of resin left in there that I use. And once this is empty, I might just put the incense that I made myself with sage leaves and myrrh. Myrrh is associated with Saturn. I made this myself out of myrrh, and I just put it in this little bottle. But looking at this, if I were to travel, this would be, I could put the myrrh into this container and use it. So just, some ideas here. And I think one last stone. I think this is another smoky quartz, even bigger piece that I have. So, and you can use this as well. So, basically these are just the boxes that I'm using. Saturn, I thought, not only since we're approaching Saturday, Saturn is kind of a hard one. There's not a lot talked about with Saturn, and not everybody totally understands what it represents. I know I didn't. So it took, some reading and researching it, and I found that it works, very good with those things, especially with perseverance, patience. If you want to, let's say, if you're very passionate about something that you shouldn't be passionate about, it's a good way to kind of temper those things by doing some work with Saturn. Sometimes we get too excited over things, and we lust for certain results or things or people, that may not be the best for us. So this is really good with patience. If you want to, help with longevity and patience and just kind of take some of the passion out of things and see things more clearly, this is a good correspondence to work with. So I will go ahead and put these back. And you can put these your own way. You don't need to have the beeswax candles. You can have just a basic black candle or a brown candle. Since I have these, I use them, and beeswax is so much more expensive than the chime candles. So if you do have it, I mean, why not use it? And here's the brown one too. And here's the incense and the other incense, the juniper. But let me know if you guys have any ideas on the boxes, or if you have your own that you've made. I would love to hear about them. I would love to, see what you got and your ideas as well. I'm all for sharing of information and exchanging it. And I like to share what I know, but I'm always learning. I'm constantly learning. So, whatever information or ideas that you have, I think would be really cool to share. As repurposing these boxes, they're great to get, but it's like, what do you do afterwards? What do you do afterwards once you're, after, the glee from just, the sheer joy of getting the box, and you'll use certain things, but especially the herbs and things are just like, what do I do with this? It's like stuck in a box. And, this is a good way to kind of concentrate everything that you need into one. But I just found it handy. And just like with the other boxes, the things that you're not probably going to put in here unless you're traveling, like if you have a larger altar that you have at home, that's used pretty much for everything. Your tools, whatever, tools that you use, an athame, a wand, whatever, what have you, that is separate usually from these boxes because people use those interchangeably. But the sigils, the tarot, all those things I just incorporate into a box. And this is it. A few more words before I forget. I'm just going to wrap this up with, before I forget, a very good thing. And I don't know if I said this, but this is very important. The banishment of negativity. It's very easy to get, especially if you're in a time in your life or in circumstances where things seem, I don't know about hopeless, but just, just so fleeting, just so hard to obtain, or you have negative people around you. It's really good to help with banishing negativity, and barriers to the unwelcome, and to eliminate things that make you miserable. Wash your hands of anything other than your hopes, dreams, and goals. Bad habit breaking. Let's say if you want to quit smoking or what have you, and you just want to concentrate on patience, the perseverance, the tenacity. This is a really good time to be working with that, the Saturn and Saturday. Also, scientific experimentation. Have taken a myriad of science classes in my lifetime. When we hear about, like the newest breakthroughs in science, and it just sounds so exciting and great to read about, but the steps and the years and the toiling and all of that hard work is usually years before you see any kind of result. And that takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of tenacity. And as we know, science is not always pretty. It doesn't always turn out the way we want it to. You may have a hypothesis about something and you do your work, and it's either inconclusive or it's the complete opposite. So it's very frustrating sometimes when you're, working with chemicals, you're dealing with a paper, something like that. um, patience with that. Um, let's see. Psychic attack and defense. If there's someone out there that is, that or you have a feeling, or have a pretty good feeling who is, having some kind of psychic attack against you, this is a good for um, defense. And, sometimes you want to do an offense, not that you want to go out and just randomly like strike people down or try to. I mean, what I mean is, someone who, there are people in this world and people that, sometimes just need a good ass kicking, people who are really mean people who try to do bad things to you or your family. And I don't advocate just, going out and testing just to see how it works on, random people. That's not cool. But if someone's genuinely trying to harm you and you know this is, you have every right to defend yourself, every right. So this is another use. And overcoming work difficulties. And of course, what we talked about, transmitting of self-control and also safety. So I guess that wraps it up. Again, this is Omega and Freddie and I just signing off here, saying goodbye. And I'll see you at the next box opening or the next planetary box. See you all then. Bye.